Hey, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, this Monday morning in April. April showers bring May flowers, okay? So, but it's that time of year. But, you know, I love it. I love this time of year. I like the fact that it's raining and not snowing. But I love especially the fact that you've tuned in today. If you're watching it this Monday morning when we're live or later in the week, thank you very much. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you being here. But hey, street talk and other stuff. I have got a very important show today. I've got some people that I've been waiting for quite some time to have on to talk about some issues that are affecting our country, our community, and our lives, okay? And this is a good one. I want you to stick around. But hey, street talk and other stuff. You stay with us. We will be right back.
Global Car Care has the best customer service in the Valley. From the moment you walk in the door, their goal is to help you stay on the road, so you can keep doing what's important to you. Global Car Care certified ASE mechanics stand behind your automotive repairs.
Apple Valley Honda is bringing the future of driving to you. Introducing the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue EV. Say goodbye to gas stations and hello to a whisper-quiet ride and zero emissions. The wait is over. Finally, a local option for a quality EV from a brand with a track record of exceptional quality and reliability. Experience the Honda Prologue EV for yourself at family-owned Apple Valley Honda. Stay close to home and visit us at Apple Valley Honda today for the life you live.
Caught in a conflict? Family? Workplace? Neighbor? Business? Housing disputes? Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center provides mediation services, a cost-effective and efficient way to provide a written resolution to disputes and issues. Plus, we offer mediation training and community education on conflict resolution and communication skills. Contact us to learn more.
Are you hungry enough to eat the end out of a rhinoceros? I know how you feel. Come on out to Blueberry Hills. You'll have a great time. We've got excellent food, a feet on the furniture kind of experience, and we won't hustle you out of your table. If you want a real farm experience, make the trek to Manson to Blueberry Hills, where you sit, you pick, you eat, and you visit. So come on out and see what all the fuss is about. Blueberry Hills in Manson. It's where the world is coming to.
All right, street talk and other stuff. We are back, and I'm very happy to introduce my friends Wendy Hulse. Wendy.
Thanks
nice
for having us,
you,
Mike.
and Reverend Keith Matson. Okay,
yes, yeah.
Nice to have you, folks.
Thank you.
Okay, so we are here because there's a new organization called
Angst to Action.
Right, the Resistance Angst to Action, right?
That's right.
And we're going to talk more about that in a minute, okay? But tell us a little bit about yourself. So, ladies first. I'm sorry, I'm from an older generation, you know, but, you know. So go ahead, a little bit about yourselves, come on.
Oh, so I'm following in the footsteps of my husband, Dave, who was
here
on the
last
show
week. Yes,
last
he was. He's
week.
the president of
Habitat for Humanity, and he
okay.
wants to thank you. He's had some good response to the volunteer request.
Thank you for gracing my show.
Oh, shucks. Yeah. So Dave and I have two kids. Our son Tim, who is going to be a senior next year at Wenatchee High School, who's getting ready to head to New Orleans with the Wenatchee High School choirs here in a couple days for the Jazz Festival there. So he's excited about that. And our 14-year-old daughter, Emily, who is an 8th grader at Valley Academy and is headed to the high school next year.
Okay, cool.
They both play hockey together, and my husband is their coach. But he was my coach first.
Oh, you played hockey too?
I do.
Really?
I do. So I nabbed the coach.
Yeah, well, you've heard that joke, of course. I went to a fight and a hockey game broke out.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep, I never, actually, just at the parent versus kids hockey game at the end of the season, my daughter and I were cross-checking and goofing around a little bit, and she says, "You want a piece of me, Mom? Let's drop gloves." So we dropped gloves, and we were like, that's the only hockey fight I've ever been a part of.
So, do you work outside the home?
I do.
I like the way I phrased that.
I do, outside of the home, yes. According to my husband, I work very little inside of the home. That might be true. But no, I'm a teacher at Valley Academy of Learning.
Okay, what do you teach?
A lot of things. It's a really eclectic school, so mostly they're kindergarten programming, but I also teach Spanish and guitar.
So
for
español
middle
es muy
school.
bueno, eh?
Ah, no entiendo tu español, no sé por qué.
Mi
pero-
español no es muy bueno. Yo comprendo muy poco.
Oh, pero hablas
Hablo
bien.
solamente un poquito español.
Okay, all right. Oh, muy bien, muy bien. Okay, Keith, how about you?
Well,
You know?
I'm a retired.
Yeah, I understand that type of retirement.
Yeah,
So-
American. See, I retired in 2016 after 42 years as a church pastor.
Okay, good for you.
Yeah, that's right.
Good for you.
And I soon found out that I have no idea what retirement means.
Yeah, I
Somebody
know.
needs to explain to me what retirement means. Soon after I retired, we moved here to Wenatchee from Issaquah area, North Bend area, and we moved here because things were going to be cheaper.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, good luck with that.
They actually were for a while.
For a while, yeah. Okay.
So, but I right away had to get involved in stuff. I started a group teaching chess to kids.
Oh, really?
Kids.
Okay.
And we've taught chess after school at a number of the local schools, including the Valley Academy.
Oh, nice.
So we did that for a while, and I really enjoyed that. But then I got involved in several other things. I started teaching English as a second language
Okay,
to
all right.
Ukrainian refugees
Okay.
and to Hispanic refugees for the community center.
Yeah.
And so I enjoyed that for a while, but I was working through AmeriCorps, but there's a 4-year limit on that.
Okay, all right.
So I ended up deciding to look for something else, and then this opportunity comes up to be a chaplain.
Okay.
And so that's what I've been doing the last 2 years.
Oh, cool.
Working as a chaplain.
Continuing to serve, okay?
Continuing to serve.
Right.
See, it's not just service. Sometimes people think that that's just kind of a drudgery. No, I enjoy serving.
Right. And it's working to have a meaningful life.
That's right. It's
so-
making a difference in the world and in individual people's lives.
Okay.
That really is important.
Yes. Okay, now, what are we here to talk about today? Okay, there's a new organization. Tell us about that.
The organization's called the Resistance Angst to Action, and
All right.
the name comes from the fact that when Donald Trump got elected last year, many of us just felt like a punch in the gut.
Right.
And we've felt a tremendous amount of angst at what the country was coming to. And, a lot was very depressing. But what people decided, we got together and we talked about what do we do about it. And what we decided was when you put that angst into action,
Right.
it helps you to feel like you're making a difference. Angst, when you feel bad about what's happening and you have nothing you can do about it, that eats you up.
All right, now there's something I want to point out, okay? We are all Christians, okay? And one of the issues that is confronting me is the evangelical support of Donald Trump, which is mind-boggling to me, okay? But we want to make it clear that we are acting based on our faith, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so there are specific policies and things that we see Donald Trump doing, and I have spoken out about some of them in articles I've written for the paper, but what are the things that we feel that we need to have resistance and take action against as far as our current I have a hard time saying it. I'm sorry, our current president's policies.
Yes.
So,
You want to start on that one? When do you want me to?
Sure, I'll start if you don't mind, Keith.
Yeah.
So I came into this group because Reverend Keith offered a service after the election for those who were feeling grief or confusion, place to need to process, to go. And so our church had just finished a book study as a church called, and I want to go ahead and say, our church is the First United Methodist Church of Wenatchee, and our pastor has also been a guest
Debbie Sperry, she
on
was
your
here a few
show.
weeks ago.
And she's very well spoken and an advocate for Christ-like action in our community over policy. What would Christ do? And Christ always walked with the marginalized. He always helped those who were on the fringes.
And this is one of the issues, is that the marginalized are people that Donald Trump's administration has, this is one of the policies we're talking about, has singled out and denied their actual existence.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yes. No.
You're going to probably have to tell me to shut up at one point or another.
Well, I just want to bring it full circle. So our church had just finished a book study called "I Think You're Wrong, But I'm Listening."
Okay.
And it was a really effective book written by two attorneys, one of whom defines herself as liberal and the other who defines herself as conservative. And they have a podcast called Pantsuit Politics. Sarah Stewart Holland and Beth Silvers. And so our church did this book study to talk about how do we embrace issues that we feel differently about with Christ at the center, with Christ as the focus. And our church founder, John Wesley, has a quote saying that, can we have different thoughts but be of one heart?
Right.
Can we love although we have different opinions? So yes, we can have different opinions and we can approach that as Christians until a law goes in place that overrides all of our opinions, that is unconstitutional, and that takes away our ability to...
Are you talking about a specific...
Well, we're talking about specific actions done against immigrants, LGBTQIA, against the environment, against education, against national park employees. I can go on and on about the specific actions.
Right.
How do we find an effective way to act against without engaging the hate?
And it's a struggle. Like I was saying earlier off camera, I have a problem with overreacting and being defensive, and I have to be careful of that. So mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. Okay, Keith, go ahead.
Well, for me, what you identify with, I identify with, come on, get your mouth working.
Doing good.
I identify with being a follower of Jesus Christ.
Right.
So that's first, whether it's Democrat, Republican, progressive, anything like that. So follower of Jesus Christ, where's Christ calling us? And the thing that bothers me is that Trump and his followers talk about Christian, but they violate everything virtually that the Bible teaches.
Right.
And you talk about immigrants. Leviticus.
Live TV, this is what happens, folks. But go ahead. Back to you, my friend.
In Leviticus, it says, it's talking to the Israelite people. It says, love the immigrant as yourself, because you yourself were foreigners and immigrants in Egypt. And that's a very important passage, I think. Then in addition, Jesus told the parable of the Good Samaritan.
Yes, that's my favorite.
Yes, and which people don't understand. They just think he was a nice guy who helped a stranger. No, he was a foreigner. And that's what they were saying. He was considered to be a hated foreigner.
Jesus cast as the main character in that the most hated person he could for his Jewish audience at the time, a Samaritan. And I always say this, if he was speaking that parable to us today, who would he cast in that role?
That's right. Yeah,
For me, it would be a Christian nationalist.
And that's another thing. See, the other thing is that they say that Christian nationalist, America first. That is so counter to what Christ talks about.
Yes.
He says that, even Israel, he said, hey, God can raise up stones to be children of Israel.
Right.
You have to be aware that we are all one family under God.
Yes, okay.
And that's so important to be able to understand that and to help people understand it. Also, Trump has his clergy advisors. People are in what is called the prosperity gospel.
Yes, you're very familiar with that.
And the prosperity gospel basically says that if you are really following God, you will become financially prosperous.
Right.
If you are not financially prosperous, you're poor, it's because God hates you.
Right.
Or God doesn't like you, or you're not following
And how do we
God.
show people, and how, in the prosperity doctrine, how do you show people that you're engaging in this? Is by giving your money to someone.
them.
Right, to them, exactly.
Yes,
Exactly.
and this is not first time with Donald Trump, but he's brought these people to the
Sure.
fore into his, and the Bible very clearly tells us that it is the rich who despoil the poor who are the ones that God gets angriest at.
Right, right, right.
And you know, we talk about the time that Jesus got angry and he whipped people in the temple, turned over tables and got out a whip and things like that. You know, he was not too peaceful at that point.
No, he wasn't. And you know what's interesting about that story? That's when the Jewish leaders took into action the steps to kill him.
Yes.
Because he was interfering with their economic structure.
Their business.
Right, their business. Those people who were running the temple, I mean, in the marketplace in the temple, they were run by the higher-ups, okay?
So Jesus did not get out a whip against LGBTQ plus people.
No, he did not.
He did not get out the whips against prostitutes or tax collectors.
No.
He got the whips out against the people who are business people who were taking advantage of the poor.
Right, okay, now we need to take a break, okay? But street talk and other stuff. You can tell this is a hot topic. We're not gonna get to everything we would like to with these folks today, but we're gonna do our best. But hey, we need to take a quick break. So, talking with Keith Matson and Wendy Hulse from the new group, The Resistance, From Angst to Action. We will be back in a minute, so stick around.
Between juggling groceries, preparing meals, and lending a helping hand, you're a hero without a cape. But who's there to support you? Aging and Adult Care honors caregivers like you, the relatives, friends, and neighbors, helping loved ones remain safely at home. Aging and Adult Care offers chore services, respite, personal care, and more. Serving Chelan, Douglas, Grant, Lincoln, Adams, and Okanagan counties, call Aging and Adult Care at 1-800-572-4459 for caregiver support.
Bienvenido al Centro de Resolución de Conflictos. Brindamos servicios a los condados de Grant y Adams, ayudando a empresas y personas a resolver problemas difíciles. Ofrecemos ayuda con conflictos de trabajo, problemas residenciales y asuntos familiares. Podemos capacitar a su personal en habilidades de prevención y resolución de conflictos. Llámenos al 509-237-3705 para obtener más información.
It's the NCWLIFE Community Calendar brought to you by Apple Valley Honda. Tickets are on sale now for Catch Me If You Can, the Apple Blossom musical presented by Music Theater Wenatchee. Performances are May 1st through the 3rd and May 7th through the 10th at the Numerica Pack. The 2025 Arbor Day plant sale returns April 12th at 4 locations in the Valley: the Wenatchee Valley Senior Activities Center, East Wenatchee's City Hall, Martin's Marketplace in Cashmere, and Antie's City Hall. Each plant is just $5.
When you enjoy Abby's Pizza at your place, close your eyes and you can taste old-fashioned values, classic pizza parlor decor, and generations of tradition. Recreate that magic. Open your eyes and head to abbys.com. With pickup and delivery options, no matter where you dine, Abby's just tastes better. This is Skinny, and he helped found Abby's 60 years ago. In honor of Skinny, we're putting his favorite pizza on sale. Savory pizza sauce, Canadian bacon piled to the edge, and juicy tomatoes make this a very special pizza. Order your Skinny special right now at abbys.com.
Okay, we're back. Street talk and other stuff. Talking with Keith Matson and Wendy Hulse from the new group, The Resistance, From Angst to Action. And one of the things I know that's prompted us and my feelings about this is that rather than people allowing their politics to be affected by their faith, what we are seeing in this country with Christian nationalism is that people are allowing their faith to be affected by their politics. Mm-hmm. Okay, so what are you seeing in those regards and other things about what this organization is trying to do?
Well, you know, it is true that people who have had historical Christian faith background are different in their perspectives, and understand that. But what I feel we need to do is get back to the Bible.
Right.
You know, it's not what our Christian friends around us say or things like that. We've got to get back to the Bible. And if you look at the Bible very clearly speaks in favor of the poor, in favor of immigrants, in favor of the struggling people, the people on the fringes of society sometimes. God loves everybody.
Right, right.
And is not wanting people with the most money to take advantage of those other people.
Right.
Now, one of the things too is our organization is not the only resistance organization around. What we're trying to do is we have a website, go to angstoaction.org, and we've got that website.
It's easy to find.
angstoaction.org. And what we try to do with that is say what all the resistance organizations are doing. And because we want them to be able to work together and to be able to find a way to put our feelings and our faith into action. But again, I think it goes back to the Bible. It's got to go back to the Bible. I'm a Baptist. I'm sorry. I've always been focused on the Bible.
Right.
And the Bible is just very clear about a lot of these issues. Now, does that mean we don't listen to people who have Christian perspectives who think differently? No, of course we do.
Right.
Loving them is part of what we're called to do.
Yes.
Also.
Yeah.
And loving them, you cannot love somebody without listening to them.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah.
just, I'm sorry, go ahead. Oh, well, a local pastor said that he supports Donald Trump because Donald Trump is putting into place biblical principles. And someone else said, what biblical principles? You know, negating the marginalized, not caring about the poor, okay, taking advantage, denying the existence of people. The Bible speaks repeatedly about taking care of the poor. The Bible speaks repeatedly about protecting people who are strangers, okay? Jesus protected the marginalized. And who was it that Jesus had an issue with? The religious right.
That's right.
Okay, I mean, it's just, it boggles my mind that people aren't seeing this. Okay.
The people who he had problems with people who wanted to condemn everybody else.
Right, right.
You know, the important thing about the Bible is you don't use it to find ways to argue against the people around you. You use it to examine yourself.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
All right, now, Keith, I want to ask you something specific. I know that you feel strongly about Trump's immigration policies, okay? Why don't you speak on those a little bit? And I have something to comment on, but I will let you go first.
Well, that's the thing. I think that not only is they talk about the immigration in Leviticus, but throughout, the idea is that you are open to all of God's people.
Yeah.
That you love all of God's people, not just those people who are right in your neighborhood. You love the Samaritans, you love them. And so, you know, people talk about, well, you know, Israel was just the premier country. But even in Israel, one of the things that you learn is that who was Jesus descended from? Ruth.
Right. Who was a Moabite.
Foreigner,
Was a Moabite.
A Moabite
Right.
was a ancestor of King David and
exactly,
Jesus.
yes.
And who was one of King David's most trusted advisors? Uriah the Hittite.
Right, right.
And these were foreigners, so they were working together with other nations. And people just they look right past that.
Nick.
And one of the things that bugs me most, now, and I know some people disagree with this, I have no problem with deporting criminals. I do have problems with releasing 1,500 American criminals back into the populace and then saying it was an act of humanity. Let's leave it at that. However, we have to follow due process, and that's not happening. And what bothers me more about that is that people who are seeing Trump do this ignore due process and are agreeing with it. Okay? I mean, we are Americans. We stand for something. We have to play by the rules, okay? If we don't, we are down to the level of the people who we're condemning. So,
May I speak to that?
Yes.
We, the resistance, angst to action, really one of our core tenets is that we can talk about our angst a lot, and we do, and we process it, but what can we do? when it comes down to what can we actually do that will make effective change. And one of the concrete steps that our group has made is to align with the Wenatchee Immigrant Justice.
Right.
And they are under the umbrella of Washington Immigrant Solidarity Network.
Yeah.
And I attended one of the trainings that they provide, and they provide them regularly for anyone else who might be interested, and it's called Rapid Response Training.
Okay.
And what I really like about this Rapid Response Training is bystanders are trained to go onto the scene if there is an ICE, Immigrations and Customs Enforcement raid. And we're trained really just to document. So someone is rolling their camera on the raid, and also the Spanish speakers in the group, I am one, Keith I know has worked with teaching English as a second language, that's my background as well. So can give the rights to the person being detained in Spanish or in English, and just make sure that they know their rights.
Right, right.
What I love about this process is it keeps everyone accountable. It doesn't interfere. If immigration is doing important work with a warrant and detaining a criminal by due process, the rapid response trainer has not interfered with that in any way. But what we're getting a lot of reports of is collateral sweeps, where everybody at a work site, everybody at a hospital, everybody at an ESL class is detained first without the warrant, just to see whether or not they could be deported. And one of the things that I really like that that is also provided is that after a raid, because we're able to report to the WISN group, the Wenatchee Immigrant Solidarity Network, they provide support. Let's say the breadwinner just got detained and is going to be deported. Maybe is, maybe isn't illegal, maybe is, maybe isn't a criminal. Not ours to judge, just ours to document. If that person is deported, WISN can come and provide some financial support for the remaining spouse. If you think about it, this might be a parent who doesn't show up at the end of the school day.
Sure.
And so children don't have a parent come to get them from school. So WISN can go and receive the children and get them into some public aid and provide humanitarian Christian support and love
One of the things
during this process.
I'd like to say something about real quickly is we talk about immigration.
Yeah.
And the thing is that Trump is a liar.
Oh my gosh!
He lies so much about the immigrants, the Haitians.
Oh, I know.
Eating pets.
It is incredible.
And the Christian right talks about reinstating the 10 Commandments. Well, what does one of those commandments
What is the
say?
9th commandment? Do not bear false witness.
False witness against your neighbor.
Oh, I know it. But it's incredible how often it happens. Well, the man finally did say something I believed. He said he didn't care that car prices were going to go up.
Yeah.
Okay, but I wrote an article for the paper a while back, and the title of it was, "We know you're lying because your lips are moving."
Yes.
It is incredible the lies the man tells, and that people accept them.
And it's not just lies in general, it's lies that hurt people.
Yeah.
That hurt people. And the whole victimization of making the immigrants the boogeyman.
Yeah.
And this is somebody we can. It's the same thing that happened in Nazi Germany.
Right, right. And
Exact same thing.
Exactly. And there are parallels. And what anyone says when this comes up, well, Trump isn't killing any Jews. Well, I'm glad about that. But he is dismissing the marginalized. The statement that there are only two genders in America now, male and female. Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Trump, that's simply not true. It's not true. It may be a small minority of people who are, intersex and the other terms we can use, but it's still an important part of our society.
And do you think he's not killing people that he's sending to El Salvador in some prison that's going to just...
Exactly, yeah.
Oh gosh, he's killing people.
Yeah, but this denying the rights of the queer community, denying their actual existence, it's just... It's incredible. Yeah, you want to know about some of his policies that we don't like? That's one of them, okay? Okay, so how can people connect? All right, we got about a minute left, so...
Again, go to angsttoaction.org.
Okay.
It tells you all the connections within different organizations that are working against what these injustices are.
Okay, all right.
And, we don't do it all ourselves. We don't try to do it all ourselves. We can't. We just want to make sure people are aware of all that's being done in the area.
Okay.
So that's a very important.
And there are a number of different ways that people can get involved, okay? Because some people don't like, I mean, I know people, there was a large, event on Saturday, and some of us are just not into that type of thing.
Yeah.
But there are other ways that just about all of us can be involved. So, hey, I want to say thanks, Keith. Thank you very much for being here, for what you're doing. Okay, Wendy, it's always a pleasure. Okay, so Street Talk and other stuff. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you being here. Next week, Eastmont Drama is putting on a show called Big Fish. We'll see you then. Have a great day. Bye-bye.